The air is thick with tension, whispers linger in dimly lit corners as shadows dance along cobblestone streets. In the heart of Italy, where ancient ruins stand as silent witnesses to the past, there exists a world veiled in secrecy and intimidation, a world governed by an organization known as the Mafia. But what if I told you, hidden beneath the surface of this storied criminal syndicate, lies a myriad of dark secrets that could flip everything you think you know upside down? You might be wondering how deep the rabbit hole goes. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you're going to uncover shocking truths about the Italian Mafia, truths that not only cast a shadow on their foundations but also reveal the complex web of power, betrayal, and survival that defines their existence. Welcome to a dark realm, where loyalty is everything, but betrayal is commonplace, where the line between life and death is blurred. For centuries, the Italian Mafia has loomed like a monstrous figure in the shadows, exerting control over vast swaths of territory through fear and violence. But what does it really mean to live under the thumb of one of the most infamous organizations in history? And how does the Mafia maintain their grip on society in a modern world where technology and law enforcement are constantly evolving? Keep watching, because you're about to learn things that will challenge your perceptions. Let's dive into the first veil of illusion, the so-called Code of Silence, or Omerta, which is not just a simple belief, it's a way of life. From the outside looking in, one might imagine the Mafia operates like a brotherhood, an unbreakable family, bonded by code and loyalty. But here's something you didn't expect: the reality of Omerta is far more complex. It's not just about silence, it's about fear. Fear of retribution, fear of losing everything, secrets kept under penalty of death. But the truth? It often shrouds its enforcers in silence out of desperation rather than compliance. Imagine living in a neighborhood where you know that cooperating with law enforcement could mean a death sentence. That's the kind of unbearable pressure that creates a cycle of dishonesty and complicity, a dynamic that reinforces not just the local economy but the very fabric of society. As you can see, fear can bind people together, but it also fractures trust. That duality is central to understanding the Mafia. It allows them to remain hidden in plain sight while exerting incredible influence over entire communities. Now, let's turn the spotlight on one of the most shocking aspects of the Mafia: their infiltration into legitimate businesses. You might be surprised to learn that the criminal underworld has woven itself into the very threads of the Italian economy. From restaurants to construction companies, the Mafia has a way of transforming the mundane into lucrative enterprises that operate just beneath the radar of the law. But hold on, what does that mean for unsuspecting consumers? As you savor your next slice of pizza or blissfully stroll through a local market, consider this: much of it may be tainted by blood money. Shocking, right? The implications of this reach far beyond mere criminality. They seep into the everyday lives of citizens who may unknowingly support these hidden operations. And even more disturbing is how the Mafia exploits people's trust to maintain a facade of legitimacy, keeping its grip on power strong and unyielding. But let's not forget the role of politics in this intricate dance. You might be wondering how on earth politicians can maintain integrity in a system riddled with corruption. However, here's a twist that will leave you speechless. Many politicians find themselves in bed with the Mafia, swallowed by its influence in a desperate bid for power and control. As a matter of fact, there are documented cases where elected officials, whose very duty is to serve the public, have been exposed for accepting bribes, orchestrating sham contracts, or even turning a blind eye to illicit activities in exchange for cash and support. It's a dark game of chess, where every move is calculated, every alliance a potential trap. The Mafia exploits this to expand its reach and assert its dominance, making it nearly impossible for citizens to distinguish between legitimate governance and criminal manipulation. Just think about it: your vote, your trust, your very belief in the system could have been engineered and manipulated by a ruthless organization operating under the guise of politeness and respectability. And if you thought all of this remained confined within Italy, think again. The Mafia has a global reach that most people could never imagine. You might ask, how is that possible? This is where it gets particularly chilling. Italian organized crime isn't just a provincial issue, it has seeped into nearly every corner of the world, South America, the United States, and beyond, creating a sprawling network of illicit activities that vary from drug trafficking to human smuggling. Each of these operations is meticulously planned, leveraging everything from corrupt officials to everyday citizens who believe the lie that they are safe. As shocking as this may sound, those very same neighborhoods that thrive under the mafia's thumb could be oblivious to the broader implications of their presence on the international stage. For instance, drugs don't just affect the local community, they fuel violence worldwide, creating a ripple effect that can destabilize entire regions. If you thought the mafia's operations were merely local criminal activity, it's time to recalibrate your understanding. They have become players in a global game. Now, let's delve deeper into a lesser-known yet equally fascinating aspect of the mafia's structure, the women. You might be surprised to learn that while the traditional narrative often portrays mafia members as bloodthirsty men, women play a crucial role in this sinister world. But what does that role look like? Surprisingly, it can range from being complicit in crime to even acting as the backbone of operations, ensuring that family legacies continue despite the chaos around them. Take, for example, the phenomenon of the mafia mothers, women who often take control in the absence of their imprisoned husbands or brothers. In doing so, they inadvertently shift the narrative around the mafia and challenge the societal perception of who holds power. Yet, despite their influence, these women find themselves trapped within the very system they serve, often finding it impossible to escape the cycle of violence and loyalty that binds them. And while we're on the subject, let's not ignore the rise of social media and technology. In an age where everything is documented and shared, one might assume that the mafia would struggle to maintain its secrets. But here's something that may shock you: they've adapted brilliantly. Utilizing technology for their operations while simultaneously operating in the shadows, they manipulate social platforms to spread misinformation and intimidate rivals while maintaining an air of mystery. This ability to evolve is what makes the mafia such a formidable opponent, even in today's world. As the narrative unfolds, you may find yourself grappling with a question that plagues many. How can this organization continue to thrive despite the intense scrutiny and the relentless efforts of law enforcement agencies? Surely, their secrets must eventually be uncovered, right? The cold, hard truth is that the mafia has survived not just because of fear and intimidation, but because of their uncanny ability to blend in, to adapt, and to exploit vulnerabilities, both in society and within the system. This leads us to another staggering revelation: the role of informants and turncoats, those brave individuals who dare to step away from the darkness. You might be wondering what drives someone to betray their own. The truth is often layered. Some seek protection, others justice, and many long for a life outside the cycle of violence. But in a world governed by loyalty and vengeance, the price of turning informant is often steep, sometimes unbearably so. The result? A game of cat and mouse ensues, where trust is tenuous and double-crossing is commonplace. This constant threat encourages further silence within communities, perpetuating the cycle of fear. It forces citizens into a sort of paralysis, where the consequences of speaking out seem too devastating to bear. Still, brave souls emerge from the shadows, risking everything to expose the truth, often resulting in high-profile trials that reveal, for the first time, the intricate web of corruption and malfeasance that define the mafia. But what happens when those trials don't end in justice? When the system fails to hold the mafia accountable, what emerges is a profound sense of hopelessness, further breeding more deviant behavior among the youth who seek to escape their grim realities. Understand this: the broader implications of the mafia's influence extend far beyond the immediate environment. They seep into socio-economic fabric, reinforcing cycles of poverty, violence, and despair in ways that are deeply ingrained and often overlooked. As we come to the conclusion of our exploration, we're left with these haunting truths that simmer under the surface of society. The Italian Mafia isn't just a criminal organization, they're a symbol of power, a disturbing reflection of societal breakdown that thrives where trust erodes and hope falters. Hidden alliances, corrupt politicians, desperate citizens, the tapestry interwoven with dark secrets tells a haunting story of survival, struggle, and an unsettling sense of normalcy. So, what can we take away from this? As you step back into the light of your day, perhaps it's essential to interrogate the systems around you, wherever you may be. The dark secrets of the Italian Mafia serve not only as a cautionary tale but as a reminder of resilience amidst corruption, and the lengths to which individuals will go to survive, whether through allegiance or resistance. In this complex web, knowledge is power. The more we understand the dynamics at play, the better we are equipped to dismantle the systems of fear that persist. Keep these truths close, for they serve as both a warning and an opportunity, a chance to reflect and, hopefully, to effect change. Thank you for journeying with me through the dark secrets of the Italian Mafia. As we part ways, may you carry the flame of curiosity and critical thought, illuminating the shadows that lie beneath our everyday lives.